What's up, boys and girls, if there is any? So, there's a lot of scenes in the boys show that don't really make much sense. Like, a lot of scenes, actually. But today, I wanted to go over a scene that just really blew my socks off for how stupid it was. And that scene was the Hughie in the vent scene from season 4. I just thought it was hilariously stupid and wanted to go over it and what led up to it and just give my thoughts on it. So yeah, let's get started. Vault just recently added 2 new members to the 7. Firecracker, a bad little redhead who can snap her fingers and they make a little thing of smoke or something. But mainly she just uses her knockers to squirt milk at Homelander, because Homelander has a thing for milk. And Sister Sage, she's a genius. With these random ass new members, the boys think the 7 are planning something big, and they want to get to the bottom of it. But Butcher's not with the team, so MM meets up with A-Train to get the deets. This doesn't relate to the scene, but in between this, there's a scene where Deep is talking to his girlfriend, an octopus.
You've been so distant lately, and we haven't been intimate in over a week.
And then right after that, it cuts to Ashley getting into some freaky shit with this guy who she has tied up. She's slapping on her big steppers to apparently crush on his nuts, so I guess that's a thing that she does.
Now, who wants their balls crushed?
Huh? You one crazy ass bitch!
You really gotta love the boys show. Anyways, MM meets up with A-Train and convinces him to give up the meetup location of Newman, Homelander, and Sister Sage by telling him that he can be a good guy for once and just do the right thing. He kinda just gives him the old, "you're better than this, quit hanging out with those losers" type of speech. He also just flat out tells him he has hella dirt on him, so he better cough it up or he'll have him swimming with the fish, so A-Train gives it up. We cut to Hughie and MM at the meetup location, which is at the Vault on Ice thing, and Hughie, who's a good bit taller than MM, gets thrown into the vent to eavesdrop on the meetup. I don't know why they decided to put Hughie up there instead of MM, considering MM lost like hella weight in this season and is only like 5'10", whereas Hughie claims to be 6'3", but whatever. Hughie shuffles to the location, and I want to mention, these air ducts are loud as hell, and Homelander has superhuman hearing. Remember when A-Train barely muttered under his breath and Homelander heard him?
What did you say?
Nothing.
What did you say to me?
I'm sorry.
Since they're so loud, Hughie has to hit the brakes and make a complete stop when Homelander and Sister Sage randomly get to the location first. But while Homelander's literally right under him, Hughie moves and it makes a noise. Homelander somehow doesn't hear this though, so the meetup goes as planned and they all yap for a little bit about the plans, all that good stuff. But as this is happening, Hughie starts sweating bullets because, well, firstly, because it's hot up in those vents.
Fuck, it's hot as balls up here.
And secondly, because he's probably shaking in his boots scared because there's 3 soups right under his nose, one of which is a psychotic murderer. A sweat drop starts trickling down Hughie's nose, and this is about as intense as when SpongeBob and Patrick ended up at the Thug Tug.
What are you looking at?
They hit up the bathroom and decided to go crazy, bubble blasting the whole place, but one bubble got into the bar. And you know what happens to bubble blasters at the Thug Tug.
All bubble-blowing babies will be beaten senseless.
To weed them out, the DJ put on the sacred Goofy Goober song and SpongeBob and Patrick almost cracked. I mean, they were really going through it. Luckily someone else cracked, but this scene was illegally intense. Had my toes gripping the floor, similar to the boy scene. I don't know, it just kind of reminded me of it. Anyways, a sweat drop from Hughie's nose falls onto Homelander's shoulder. Homelander lays his sniffer on it and figures out Hughie's in the vents. So he turns around and blasts right through them, but Hughie's already 88 and out the gate. He's gone in the wind somehow. I like how Homelander just pops his upper body up in the vents to have a peek and then just comes back down. For some reason this shot looks a little goofy, just the way he floats up to the vents looks off. I don't really know. But where did Hughie go, and how is he absolutely silent in his exit when we just heard how loud these vents are when he's moving slowly? A regular dude with no super hearing would have heard Hughie hauling ass out of there. Also, Homelander has super speed, it's shown at Diabolical, which I guess is canon, so he could have flew through the vents at super speed and caught Hughie pretty easily. I mean, Hughie couldn't have gone too far. Also, just want to say for anyone wondering, Homelander can't see through the vents. Vents like this typically have a layer of zinc and Homelander can't see through zinc. We learned this in the scene where Deep found Translucent's remains in that box coated in zinc and Homelander said he can't see through it.
Hey, Deep. What can't I see through?
Zinc, Homelander.
Correct.
So, yeah. But how the f did Hughie get out of there before Homelander blasted him? Homelander then goes out and now he hears Hughie shuffling around, so he blasts the vents again and misses again. He could very easily just fly up there and start blasting to make sure he gets the job done. Or just blast the whole vent down the line instead of stopping right there. And it's not like he's just goofing around here. He was genuinely hot that Hughie was there and he wanted to kill him. After he misses the second blast, he kind of just stands there angrily while Hughie guns it out of there. Hughie eventually gets out of the vents and is on like this catwalk thing. I don't know why I can't think of the exact name of it, but it doesn't really matter. Homelander sees Hughie dipping out, so he tries to laser him again, Third time's the charm, but shines a light into his face so he ends up missing and blasting one of the ice skaters instead. I'm definitely not showing that, but just know the chick got absolutely diced in half. And again, Homelander just stands there angrily instead of using his flight and or super speed to get up there and snatch Hughie up. Hughie books it all the way to the exit, but like he's in a horror film, he can't open the door to save his life. But it's okay, because Homelander just stood there while this happened. Homelander finally realizes he has superpowers and flies up there and gets to the exit, but A-Train came through, picked Hughie up, and brought him to safety before Homelander got to him. Homelander then just flies off in a rage. As if it wasn't your fault for missing a couple laser blasts with your trash pissing in the dark at 3 a.m. aim when you very well could just fly up there and grab him through the vents, or fly up to the vents and start laying down some lasers. Or do some Brightburn type of deal where he flies through the walls at super speed, but instead of the walls, he could be zipping through the vents. Or, instead of trying to laser Hughie dead from a distance, which clearly wasn't working out, Homelander could fly to the exit, which is probably also the only exit Hughie could get to, and Homelander probably knows this, and he could just cut Hughie off before he ever gets to the exit and escapes. This takes less effort and would have been smarter, quicker, and easier. Why he didn't do this, I have no clue. For Hughie and the boys to have plot armor, sometimes you gotta dumb down Homelander. Also, why does he just accept defeat and fly away? He doesn't know A-Train got Hughie to safety, so for all he knows, Hughie might just be around a corner or something, and he could use his X-ray vision to find him, or just use his X-ray vision while flying around the block like he kinda did for when he was looking for Translucent. Shout out to my boy A-Train though. The redemption arc went absolutely crazy in season 4. He went from one of the most hated characters to one of the most liked characters in the show pretty quickly. Which is pretty crazy considering our first impression of him was back in season 1 when he blasted through Hughie's girlfriend at super speed on the street. He's come a long way. But back to Homelander, a lot of people will brush this off and just say, Homelander's lazy, so this isn't really out of character. I agree he's a bit lazy, but this is just ridiculous. In season 1, Translucent went missing and nobody was concerned but him, so he went out on his own and zipped around the city looking for him. He also saved Butcher from an explosion just to show him that his wife is alive as a way to mess with him. He was the one who figured out the identities of the boys. He also went out of his way to laser down that plane back in season 1. After Homelander left those people to die on the plane, he quickly cooked up some BS about how this would have never happened if the military hit him up first, which was pretty smart considering he went to save those people just to try and get into the military. Another time he was somewhat smart was when he told Starlight if she exposed the plane footage to the public, then he would go around and just burn cities down one by one because at that point he'd have nothing to lose. This kept Starlight from leaking the footage. There's actually quite a few scenes that show Homelander is not lazy and intelligent, or at least he used to be. So him acting like a complete bozo here is somewhat out of character. Somewhat. If the original Noir was alive and he was the one to hunt down Hughie, then I promise you it was raps. Every mission Noir was put on, he went out and handled shit no sweat. Hughie would have been cooked. One of Homelander's biggest mistakes in the show was when he killed off Noir. That was the only member of the 7 who handled business. It still just baffles me that after Hughie dropped that sweat onto Homelander's shoulder, he was able to quickly sneak away while being completely silent. Personally, I think this whole scene just comes down to being really poorly written, which isn't really uncommon in the boys' show sometimes. Remember in the tunnels when Homelander got taken out by that train? But yeah, that's about it. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Maybe there's a good reason for this that I'm not thinking of. Also, let me know what videos you guys want to see next. But that's all I've got for you guys today, so I'll see you in the next one.